What is up, everybody? TriforceCaboose here. I hope you all are having a wonderful day today. If you can hear my voice right now, then you have stumbled into another episode of Go Figure. This is my part of the internet where I am your host, and I take you through all things action figures, statues, bust, or anything of the sort. But I won't run my mouth too long. If you want to catch me on any other part of the internet, all the links to my socials are down below. But without me running my mouth, let's get right into today's video. But I hope to see you around, hope you're doing well, and look forward to chatting with you soon. Be safe and be good people, my friends. Hey there everybody, TriforceCaboose here. Hope everybody's doing well today, and welcome to another episode of Go Figure. And today we are looking at the 25th wedding anniversary Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Hasbro, Lord Zedd, and Rita Repulsa figures. And I cannot tell you at the start of this video just how excited I am to have this figure in hand. It is something I am dying to review. Just a real quick preface, if you guys know me, if you stop by my Twitch streams, if you know me in real life, if you spend any time around me, you will find out very quickly that I have a love and adoration for the Power Rangers. I have not been the biggest fan of some of Power Rangers' previous figure outings that Bandai had done. And for one reason or another, I kind of just imprinted that onto the Lightning Collection, and I haven't picked up any of the Lightning Collection. And I've seen it here, I've seen it there, online, in stores, and I've debated picking it up, debated picking it up, but nothing really pushed me over the edge until I saw this little 2-pack right here, and I fell in love with it. GameStop that I went to had it on clearance. I could not say no, so I'm happy to start my Lightning Collection off with the Zedd and Rita Repulsa figures. So yeah, enough of me gushing about my love for Power Rangers, and boy do I freaking love Power Rangers, oh my god. But let's get this box off of the stand and into the hand. So just taking a look at this box, honest to God, I love this packaging. Get a nice little peek into the sculpts and everything through the window box, all the accessories, the little wedding cake and everything. It's magnificent. Side here, you get a nice picture of Zedd. Here's a nice picture of Rita. Nice mock-up with the figures on the back. And I absolutely adore this little flavor text they put on the back. They frame it as if it's an invitation to their wedding, which I absolutely love, with the rings up top and everything. I'll leave it right there if you guys want to pause and read that. Down here we got legal stuff. Here you have more legal stuff. Little clearance sticker, because I did find this bad boy at clearance. Up top, Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Overall, the packaging is very nice on this. I can't say anything really bad about the packaging. I love the way they spun it for the 25th wedding anniversary. I thought that was a really unique way of doing that. But yeah, I'm about to crack this bad boy open. I know the Zedd is basically the re-release of the Series 1 Lord Zedd, I believe, with a few modifications to paint and everything. And then as far as I know, Rita this is her first time in the line. And I think this is actually the first time that the Lightning Collections has gotten any soft goods. Again, I'm not super familiar with the Lightning Collection, but I have done some research on it. So yeah, enough of me talking. I want to get these motherfuckers out of packaging. So Hawk, shut up. Let's get into it. So yeah, guys, with this being my first 2-pack, I believe, that I reviewed on the channel, I'll kind of just go through Rita Repulsa and then Lord Zedd as we go through. So yeah, getting Rita out of the package, I am in love with this figure, and I am also very disappointed with this figure. It is honestly such a clash of love and hatred, and I'll kind of go through some reasons for that here in just a second. But just like as an aesthetic point of view, looking at her out of the package, holy crap, does she look magnificent. From the sculpting in the hair all the way to the feathers on the back of her outfit, the actual outfit itself, the vibrancy of the cloth goods, as well as the fact that motherfucker, she stands so easy. I was so concerned with this rubber here being super heavy compared to the rest of the figure. I thought for sure that junk in the trunk was gonna weigh her down big time, but no, she has the ankles of Olympians. No Achilles heel here. She will stand just fine. I love the accessories that she comes with, which is just part of what Zedd and Rita both come with, which is I have hers for the potion bottle, her interchangeable hands, her staff, and the wedding bouquet flowers. I honestly really like this figure aesthetically. Mechanically is a little bit of a different story, but yeah, I'm gonna shut up. Let's go through everything a little bit more in depth. Let's get her off of the stand and into the hand, and let's take a peek at these accessories a little bit closer. So going through her accessories, one thing I wanted to touch base with before I go through her actual in-package accessories is when you take her interchangeable hands off, she does have these molded bracelets that are, I guess, technically accessories. I really like the way they're molded. They do inhibit some of her wrist articulation, but nothing crazy. But these aren't really something I normally go over as accessories, but they did just fall off as I was popping her hands off to go through. So I thought I'd just point it out. I really like it. It wasn't necessary, and they definitely didn't have to be separate pieces. So I'm proud of it. I like it. Proud of it's not the best word. I'm like a proud parent. So yeah, Starting off with the hands that were already ported in for the actual packaging, you have her gripping hands. This is what I had her staff and her bouquet in, and I like that they even went ahead on her hand, and it's the same way with her alternative open hand and closed-fisted hand. They went ahead and sculpted her rings on, which I really like. It gives a nice texture to the figure. They're also painted very well. None of them are sloppy at all. So you do have her gripping hands, which is a pair for her left and right. She has a closed left fist for gripping, and then an open right hand here. The open hand is for this potion bottle here, this little love potion. Little heart charm on the top, nice blue color. I like that there's a little sculpted base on the bottom of it. And one thing that you can do actually is port that right into her hand. And it's actually a nice firm grip. It's not going anywhere with it. It's in there. So for posability, I think that's an excellent touch. I like stuff like that. Outside of her hands and the potion bottle, she does have her, here we do have her handy dandy staff that she would use all of the time. And I do like the sculpt on this. I love the paintwork. Mine has no paint blemishes whatsoever. It looks really good. Other than that, just a nice solid black, but I mean, it looks fantastic for what it is. It does have a really nice heft to it, but not so much that it throws the figure's balance off. And I think it just looks really good. I think it looks really good next to the figure. I really like this. And then rounding out her accessories is her bouquet. The flowers are a little flat. They look a little, I don't know, I really wish there was some accent colors on this paint scheme. Same thing with the green down here with the actual wrapping of the bouquet being the same color. I really feel like this is probably the most lackluster accessory. And the one I'm about to go through next is actually literally just a gray blob, but somehow this is still literally my least favorite accessory. Just needs more paint work. Honestly, I might go in and touch that up myself and do some paint apps here just to kind of bring out the colors of the flower, and then also just paint this. Even like a simple brown would have made this better. This one, that's my least favorite accessory. And then this accessory, which is kind of, oh my god, I adore this. It's their little wedding cake, and look at it. They got like a nice little spider, and my freaking look, they went ahead and have little Zedd and Rita cake toppers, and oh my god, look at Zedd's little booty. Look at that booty. But no, this thing is great. I love it. It's a nice little hollow piece on the bottom layer, but this thing's great. I love it. This right here. Mwah. Magnifique. Magnifique. Beautiful.
You're beautiful.
So yeah, starting off here with Rita herself, everything looks magnificent. I think that the actual head sculpt is that wonderful balance of being like that over-exaggerative, over-expressiveness that Rita had on the actual show. And I think that her expressiveness is captured excellently in figure form. One thing that is, I'm pretty sure this is how it is, there are certain spots on her cheek where you can kind of see a little bit of like almost what looks like black coming through. I believe that the face was actually black plastic that they used a flesh tone to paint over, which is fine. Sometimes it does make the skin tone look darker, and just in some of the thinner areas of paint, you could like on the cheek here and everything, you can kind of see some of the black pushing through. It's not a major gripe, but one thing that I did notice coming up to the actual hair piece, it's just the chin piece, the headband, the wraps in the hair. I do wish for the hair that we maybe could have got a wash into it just to accent some of the darkness to it. But I do wish that there was maybe some darkness throughout the actual like roots of her hair, maybe even like a wash on the bindings on her. I guess, would these be considered pigtails? Twin tails? Devil horns? Sorry, Rita, I'm not trying to insult you like that. Fun fact, when I was a kid, I didn't actually realize this was her hair. I thought this was actually like a headpiece with horns. The more you know. Then you have the actual neck piece here. Very, very pliable. Not going to interfere with anything you got going on. The actual chest piece here goes over the soft goods. Nice little tendril thingies here. And tendrils, tassels. Tendrils. Tassels here. You do have the cones, which I'm surprised the cones made it into figure form. Maybe because this was a GameStop exclusive, they didn't send it out to market. It's very true to the character design, so I like that. And then you have the beautiful silver accents on the actual soft goods. The soft goods feel very, very durable. Again, I could use some wash just to bring out some depth. This does look like a big flat color, so I would have liked some depth to it, but it does have a nice heft to it without weighing the figure down, so I'll give it a pass. Underneath, I believe it's just a basic female Power Ranger body that they cast in black plastic. So I don't believe there's anything new like sculpt-wise here. This is all just a basic body underneath the soft goods, but it's not going to matter because the soft goods will absolutely cover that. And coming down, you do have the heel and the buckle on the shoe. I would have liked to seen the buckle painted, and I'll probably go in and touch that up myself just to give it that silver pop. So that way it's not just, you know, you have all this soft goods, bright color, and then just monotonous plastic. I do think that would have been a nice little touch to bring out. I mean, they went ahead and did it for her fingers on her rings. Why not paint that buckle? All right, now as for articulation. So starting with her head, you do have a nice head pivot, which I like because the chin piece here is molded to the head, so it moves with her, so it doesn't inhibit anything. You will catch her looking up that far, pretty decent. The chin piece, however, will stop her from looking down. You can get a little bit of her looking down, but that chin piece will stop that. You can go a full 360 with it. So yeah, overall, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, coming to her shoulders. So you can get her arm up that far. It will go a full 360. With the soft goods, you would have to be twisting this. She has a single hinged elbow. This gets very tight. And with the sleeve down, I have found it almost impossible to bend her elbow. So yeah, there we go. So again, you have the basic Power Ranger body that leads cast in black plastic leading to her forearm, which is actually flesh tone. So I don't know what it is. This peg, you can even see it. The peg in there is not very thick. And trying to move her arm, it's very easy to get it backwards, and then you're trying to force it in a way that it doesn't want to go. So make sure, even if you have to pull it up, that you actually take a second to make sure these arms are pulled the right way, and you will get a single jointed elbow. Do not try to push them backwards. It will pop the peg. As I showed you guys, the peg is very thin in there. I would have liked double jointed elbows. I will say, honest to God, the fabric on this makes it very, oh my gosh. The fabric on this makes it very difficult sometimes to actually get her arm to hold that pose. When mine came out of the packaging, both of my forearms were backwards, so trying to pose it initially before I actually pulled the soft goods sleeve up was miserable, and I very well could have broke my figure that way because I didn't even realize it. So yeah, might want to, whenever you get this, pull this thing up right here, do yourself an elbow check. Check your joints before you pop them, you know? Good old Rita Repulsa says, check yourself before you wreck yourself. So you guys, on this one, I'm actually going to check while we're here. God, that sleeve went up so much easier. And find out which way. Again, my elbow was, like I said, just like the other one, it was reversed again, and I had already fixed that. But it's so easy. You do, while I'm here, I'll go and tell you, you do get swivel. Not at the bicep, but at the elbow. The bicep doesn't. There's a butterfly joint in there. I didn't actually realize that. So you actually have a butterfly joint, so her shoulder can go not only out and around, but you actually do have a butterfly joint in there where you can move her shoulder forward and back. I don't think there's any bicep. There might be bicep in there. I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. But just check your elbows. Don't be popping your elbows. With Rita, her fist will go that far back. It's a little inhibited by the actual bracelet there, but she will go all the way down. As for the abdomen, you do have what feels like an abdomen diaphragm joint. It'll give you a good amount of body pivot. Does she have an actual ab crunch? She does. So she can bend over without using her hips. She can bend that far forward and really, oh, so it's like an inverted ab crunch. Okay, so she can go really far back. As for her legs, you guys know I'm a sucker for the leg kick. Leg kicks are how we determine figures here. And with the dress, you can kick up that far, but now if you just pull the dress back a little bit, you can actually get her into the full right angle position. You do have thigh cut for full 360. Double jointed knees. I saw some people saying the knees were gummy for them. Mine are not. Mine are actually really stiff, so I didn't have any issues with the knees actually being gummy or anything like that. Full 360 on boot rotation. Foot will go down that far, up that far, and do we have foot pivot? We do. We have ankle pivot, and there's a good bit of it. You can. And if you lift up the feathers, Rita absolutely can kick herself in the butt. And for scale purposes, good old Rita looks like she will scale in just from her head at the 6-inch mark and to the tip of the actual ponytails, pigtails, twin tails, devil horns. You're looking at right at about 7 inches. Wait a minute, guys. She must go. Her planet needs her. Come on. No! And now, guys, getting into Lord Zedd, I have him as well as his accessories out. And I can say he's a better experience in some ways than Rita, but in other ways, there are a few things that are just mechanically not necessarily sound with the figure. But overall, just looking at him and the little bit of time I've had him out of the box, I can honestly say this Zedd figure is overall phenomenal. I'm very excited to get him off the stand and take a look at some things more in detail. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get that grow bomb up out of his hand and let him grow on into our hand so we can take a look. So I'm going to shut up, get him off the stand, and into the hand. So starting off with his accessories, let's go ahead and go through the hands that he has ported in whenever you get him out of the packaging, which are these kind of claw-like grip hands. They are perfect for gripping the Grow Bomb, which I'll go over here in a second. One thing that I noticed immediately when comparing him to product shots of the Series 1 Lightning Collection Zedd is that he has the actual paint deco here. In the Wave 1 figure, these knuckle pieces and the finger caps were sculpted in but did not have any paint on them for any of his interchangeable hands. So it's really nice to see that kind of come to life here. I feel like it brings a lot of life to the actual hands of the figure. As far as going down onto the actual palms of the hands, he has nice sculpting. I think it's coming through the light here. There's actually texturing to it across both hands. The swapping interchangeable pair of hands that we have is this gripping hand for his staff, which I think looks absolutely magnificent. Very nice, very evil with the way that the fingertips point in here. Shout outs to Danhausen. And then on the fist here, nice plate. Again, just great paint apps, great closed fist. The pegs on the Lightning Collection scare me sometimes because these are my first Lightning Collection figures. I noticed this with Rita. I noticed this with Zedd. It's a little more prominent with Rita's because let me pull hers up here for a comparison. The first ridge on Rita's hands here is significantly more pronounced than Zedd's. So her hand has this very almost breaking feeling pop to it. So Zedd's isn't as bad, but putting these back in, I feel like one bit of wrong pressure and I will bend the hand upwards. So just be very careful when you port these in. Don't want anybody breaking the pegs on their figures. You do have the green power crystals, which I would love to get my hands. I think Series 6, I believe, is going to have the Green Ranger without the Dragon Shield armor. Don't quote me on that. Like I say, I'm just now really getting into the Lightning Collection because I believe right now the Green Rangers all have the Dragon Shield. But this is the green power crystals. You do get a little lightning effect that you can put on Rita's staff, Zedd's staff, wherever you want. I do like these better than the Marvel Legends lightning effects that you get sometimes, primarily just because these are thicker. I don't feel like they're going to get warped. I feel like they return their shape very well, and I don't feel like I'm going to break this wrapping it around. Like when you take this and you just want to wrap it around the figure, just around the Z, give some nice lightning effects. That's an awful looking lightning effect, but you get the point. Whenever you take it off, yeah, throw it to the side, smack it around like you're playing hockey. God, that flew right off my table. I have to get that in a minute. Our next accessory, Zedd's staff, which is, I wish it was shinier. It's a very matte plastic. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great, but when you compare it to Rita's staff, which just has, oh God, if I can hold it, dance party. When you compare these staffs, let me actually make this a Z. Hey, it's the Wizard of Oz. But yeah, when you compare this to this wins hands down. I wish this was at least shinier or had some kind of texturing to it. I mean, it works. It works for its purpose. It's a nice size. It is light as sin compared to the Rita Repulsa one, so I don't like that. But his has a little spiky bit. He'll get you. He'll stab you. There is the Grow Bomb here, which Zedd will use to grow out. Kind of, you know, like treats his minions like a chia pet and grows them all out. It's good stuff. I like this. I believe that it's painted better than the Series 1. When I looked at the Series 1, I don't believe there was a red coloring throughout the middle here and the top. So I do like that. Little paint application goes a long way. But yeah, guys, getting Zedd in hand is kind of a big deal for me on a personal level. Just to kind of give you guys a bit of a backstory as to why. Like I said, I've been a Power Ranger fan pretty much my entire life. It was one thing that brought like my family together. I have very vivid memories of being a kid watching Power Rangers with my mom, my dad, my brothers, and my sister. I mean, just growing up, it was one of the things. I was the youngest in the family, and they kind of humored me. Power Rangers was to a degree a babysitter while the parents were able to talk and do stuff. But my parents shared a lot of memories with it. They always bought me a lot of the old Power Ranger action figures, which I still have a ton of, which I will put on my shelf, I swear. But one thing I never got as a kid was a Zedd figure. And I remember using, like, when I had extra Red Ranger figures, I would use one to pretend it was Zedd when I would play with him as a kid. So kind of coming full circle and actually owning a Zedd figure that I actually really like is just, for me, it's kind of a big deal. I know that may sound sappy, that may sound stupid, and I may be dumping too much personal information as far as you guys are like, come on, Triforce, get to the figure review. We don't care about you watching Power Rangers when you were a kid. Oh my God. So for that, I'm sorry, but this is kind of a big deal for me, and I love it. The sculpt is just immaculate. If you don't line it up there, his back will break. But honestly, the articulation is great. Maybe it's just me. One thing that's kind of weird for me on this figure is the leg, where, don't get me wrong, my boy is jacked. My boy's look at this. These calves right here are larger than watermelons. You could crush a watermelon if you put it between his knee and his thigh. calf and thigh, on the knee between the calf and thigh. You know what I'm saying? But my God, it kind of looks like, and I'm not sure if maybe it's just these little caps here. Like if you take these off, it's bad. It's not as bad. My boy kind of suffers some like beef cankles. I think that's one of the only weird things, because I thought maybe the feet were too, maybe I still think maybe the feet are just a little too small for the figure. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being weird about it. But the actual like sculpt itself is magnificent. The metallic paint looks phenomenal. Right on up to like the sculpt with the actual texturing of the brain. Scratch his brain a little bit. No, I didn't mean to make him nod his head. But you actually have the sculpting here, the metallic. There's like, let me see here. There's a nice texture along the lines of the actual side of the bands of the head. And you have a nice sculpt with the actual little like bone-esque details all the way through to the nice shine with the visor. I feel like, I remember some people saying the proto images of Zedd had like a brighter red plastic, but I actually like the dark red. It looks almost more like muscular-esque, but evil. That makes sense. I'm beefy and I'm evil. But one thing that caught me immediately is this chest piece right here. It's beautifully painted, don't get me wrong, but it is actually a super soft material. It's actually, I believe, the same plastic they make these like little translucent tubes out of. Because if you flip it back, on the backside, you can actually see it's the same kind of blue plastic that the tubes here are made of. But I thought for sure that this was going to be a solid piece here, but in reality, it's not. I mean, it's solid, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was going to be a hard plastic piece. But no, it's actually quite soft, which helps a lot when you're moving it around for the chest articulation and things like that. Nice sculpt all the way around Zedd. Like I say, front to back, the metallic paint sticks out very well from like the chest to the back to his little metal G-string, all the way down his little garters and everything. I'm not quite sure the practical use of this, but the side little tubes from the ankles peg into the knees. And this is for like all four of them across both knees. I'm not sure why they do that, just because like these things are so soft, like they don't inhibit his articulation at all. So I'm not sure why they chose to do that. The ones at the ankles flap up, but they're not pegged in any way. These are just for like the aesthetic side of it. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But let's go ahead and go over Lord Zedd here, lordly articulation. Starting with his head, which will go that far back. Get him looking that far down. And I believe he has a bit of a pile driver joint here where you can shift his head. Yeah, look at my boy dance. But you can shift his head forward and back. You do get a little pivoting. No, it's actually pretty good. I'm lying to you guys. My boy, basically my boy Zedd can get funky. He's up all night to get funky. Full 360 for the arms. You can go that high up. You do have a full 360 with the bicep, but you will not be able to achieve it due to these tubes. So that's about as far as you'll be able to do it. Same thing with the full 360 this way. While the sculpt will allow for it, the aesthetics with these tubes will not. You do get a double jointed elbow, which works out pretty well. Not quite as far as I would like, but you do run into some issues with the silver sculpting on the bicep and the forearm. Full 360 at the wrist. Wrist will go that far up and that far down. Now getting into the chest articulation, which I adore by the way, you do get a full diaphragm swivel here, which will go down that far and back that far. Then you actually do have an ab crunch that will take him down that far and back that far, which is, it gives me very, very similar vibes to the Marvel Legends Venom movie figure. Had that same kind of thing where there's a diaphragm joint and a ab crunch, and I absolutely adore that. I do wish the figures would still allow for me to do a waist swivel so that this way it wasn't my only swivel, but I adore how far he can crunch over and how far he can look back. That is magnificent. You guys know kicks are important to Triforce, and bam, my boy can kick out. It's a little inhibited by his metal G-string and the sculpt here on his leg, but if you move his leg out just a little bit, he's still got the skills to pay the bills, and if you don't move his leg out, he's still coming out pretty alright. So I was trying to figure out how this leg worked, because it's not coming through on camera very well. There actually is, if you guys can see here, there is a cut for the thigh, and this silver piece is sculpted over the cut, so it actually just rotates around the thigh swivel. Again, you won't get a full 360 because there is a tube ran up here, but that's actually pretty neat. I didn't realize that that was sculpted over it. Then, like I said earlier, you get double jointed knees. You don't get a ton of range because my boy is beefy as sin. Thick thighs, that's a calf. Thick thighs which save lives. I guess in Zedd's case, it'll be thick thighs take lives. And then coming down to his ankle, you can get it to go. Okay, so this is one thing I did want to mention, guys. Standing Zedd up is not nearly as easy as standing Rita up because mine, at least, both ankles are stupid tight. So Just kind of keep that in mind. He will kick up that far, and like I said, hold on guys, he is stupid tight. He will kick down that far, and then you do get full ankle pivot. These little ankle things will not get in the way. Oh yeah, peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Does Rita have peg holes? Rita does. Like I said guys, standing the Zedd has been a bit of a challenge. But as for the height of Zedd, you're looking at about 6.5 inches roughly, with the actual Z coming in right at the 7-inch mark. Come on Zedd. It's just, no. No. Yeah! No! No! Quick add-on guys, one thing I didn't realize when I was talking about Zedd's articulation, because I got distracted talking about these, he also does have butterfly joints, which is great! So yeah guys, that's the Rita Repulsa and Lord Zedd 25th wedding anniversary Lightning Collection figures. The more that I played around with the Rita figure for posing, the easier it did get, but I will say make sure you check your elbows. Those things will easily flip around before you even realize it, and I just would hate for somebody to break their figure. Zedd, there's a few minor little tweaks I would like, but honestly, this was worth every penny. Like I say, I picked this up at a GameStop for $40. Looking at it online, I see prices all over the place. If you can pick this up for the $40 to $60 range, I think it's a good buy. You know, I don't like to rate figures from a scale of 1 to 10, but for the lovebirds here, I definitely would recommend it to any fan of Power Rangers, anyone who collects the Lightning Collection. I think the upgrades they did to the paint applications to Zedd over the Series 1 were much needed aesthetically, and I just really like the figures. I will be keeping them posed together. I may be giving Kim the Rita Repulsa after this review, because she had mentioned that. But yeah, it's just magnificent. They pose so well together. Look at them holding hands, having a good time. I love the packaging on this. I love the execution of these figures. Anything that I've said wrong with them is very minor. I mean, all I try to do is make sure you guys have all the information at hand before you go out and make a purchase yourself. And I would absolutely recommend these figures to anybody who collects the Lightning Collection or anyone who is a fan of Power Rangers. The love and attention to detail that was shown to both Lord Zedd and Rita Repulsa is just phenomenal. They'll look great on any display case. They'll look great displayed by themselves or together. It's just, honestly, it's a must buy for me. So yeah, I don't really want to pass anything along other than my personal opinions on it, and I hope I can help in some way with your purchase process. But guys, if you don't take anything away from today's video aside from the information on the figures, remember, you are a magnificent human being. Much like Rita and Zedd here, you all deserve love and you all deserve to be happy. Make sure you never devalue yourself. Take a second to appreciate yourself, and remember, this world is a better place with you in it. Until we meet up on the tracks next time for our next crazy and wacky figure review, I thank you very much for watching today's episode of Go Figure. I hope you are all doing well. And until next time, this caboose is loose and leaving the station. Be safe and be good people, my friends.